Episode 31.
Music Bar Podcast.
Yeah, Music Bar Podcast. I mean, like, you know, you asked for a 13, but they drew a 31. So does that make us cool or not? 31 flavors, Baskin and Robbins. You know, 31. Good age to be. How long ago was that? Oh, years ago in rock and roll, if you were 31, you were old. That's you're old, pal. Bob Dylan turned 31. They were looking for the next Bob Dylan. So, you know, they were. Technically, they were. That's what they sold Bruce Springsteen as, the new Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
And it was because he was, because Bob was in his 30s by that stage.
Yeah.
By the time Bruce Springsteen came around. So, yeah, you know.
Yeah. How are you today, Dan?
Yeah, good, mate. How's yourself?
Yeah, good. How's your week been?
Week has been pretty good. Short week because we're around the time of the Easters and the public holidays and all that sort of stuff here in Australia. So we don't work much. But I haven't stopped.
Oh, really?
I haven't stopped. The job I've had to work all the public holidays. So there you go. How about you, man? You good?
Yeah, good. Just still obviously moving. This will be my last podcast from this house anyway. We're moving on Friday and Saturday coming up. So this is recorded on Monday. So yeah, it's a busy week for me again. Flat out moving, packing, juggling a child, running around, trying to keep him entertained while you do so. It's been a very interesting couple of weeks, but it's near the end. A new place.
You got to have another white wall to sit in front of, are you?
Yeah. Something or other. I'm not sure yet, but that'll be next week. But but before we go on to our topics, I just want to say thanks to everybody who's commented on our first guest, Corey Blight from Overreactor. We had a few people to me saying they really enjoyed the show.
The Corey episode was great.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Looking forward to doing more down the track.
Yeah.
It
was a lot of fun. I enjoyed talking to Corey, and then I went back and listened to his AFL football songs, and they are very entertaining.
They are very funny, aren't they? He's done very well
funny.
In that.
I reckon he could make a living doing AFL comedy songs or something.
Probably could, actually.
That, you know?
Probably could.
Yeah, for anyone listening or anything from overseas, AFL is the Australian rules football. They're very parochial about AFL football. But we're a country that follows two football leagues. That's the thing about Australia. We don't just have one. Like in America, they have gridiron, and, you know, in England, they do have rugby league, but their main thing is soccer. But in Australia, it's AFL and rugby league. But AFL do have this thing where they like songs about them and all that sort of stuff. And look, I could even appreciate rugby league is crap. I could even appreciate that song. So,
well, I appreciated the first one they did about the Magpies, the Collingwood, because I'm a Collingwood supporter. And I understood what he was saying, and I think it was really funny. It was really clever. So good on them for doing that, away from their normal style of music. But it was a bit of fun to watch. But yeah, it was fun and good comments and good reaction from people. So looking forward to the future when we do more guests. But yeah, thanks for everyone subscribing as well, and a few people.
It'd be nice if we.
Say again.
It'd be nice when we can do some more guests. I really will enjoy doing that. I'm going to try and line somebody up soon, and have some more guests. It'll be great. Sounds good.
What's been in the news this week, Dan? I have discovered a very interesting story. You might have heard it.
Yeah, I think I have.
The Van Halen one?
Yeah, look, you're the one who sort of, it's been there because it all comes up on my feed. I basically just trawl through social media, and that you know, I know it's the echo chamber, but that's where I get a lot of my info from, apart from, you know, that's all I do is read music articles and movie articles all week. This whole Van Halen tribute, which you kind of put me onto and said, hey, Dan, what do you think of this? And my initial reaction has been, oh, God, no, please don't. I think you've seen my comments are like, just stop and please don't. So the initial idea is, this is what's come from is, Jason Newsted apparently said something off the record, or is it Joe Satriani, whatever it is.
Jason.
Alex Van Halen has basically intimated that he wants to do a Van Halen tribute tour.
Yeah.
And he's talked to Joe Satriani,
mm-hmm.
Jason Newsted,
yep.
and apparently David Lee Roth wants to do this. Possibly. Now, I don't know whether it came as this, like a tribute show to Eddie. And my thing was, why do this? And it's not, I don't want to be disparaging towards the quality. I mean, I can understand Alex might want to keep the Van Halen legacy going. I totally see a reason for that. But if he's so keen to keep the Van Halen legacy going, then God's sakes, why do they spend like so long off the road, not touring or not doing anything? I know that was a lot to do with Eddie himself, but you know, Alex could have said, "Hey Ed, I want to get on the road and tour." Is it a money thing? Is it, geez, we got to keep the income coming in, because they've probably looked at it now and gone, oh, because Van Halen apparently they don't have the amount of how would I put it, material in a vault to keep reissuing stuff. This is what as Wolfgang Van Halen has intimated. So there's no big vault worth of Van Halen coming out. They could start to reissue the albums, which is not a bad idea. But how many outtakes are there for an album that was recorded for that debut anyway? That was recorded predominantly live in like what, 2 or 3 days or something like that. They recorded that first album. There's probably not a lot of Van Halen material in the vault. So therefore, the only thing that probably keeps the money coming in as such would be touring. So what does Alex Van Halen want to do? Does he want to tour under the Van Halen moniker? And this to me presents quite a few problems and issues, because to me it's a little too soon.
2 years.
I mean, yeah. And an argument I could put forward for this is Queen. Queen, like, as Brian May has said, Queen never officially broke up. Now, when your lead singer dies, maybe that's the initial breakup or whatever it is. But they kept Queen going in some capacity, but more as a business venture. They did try a couple of lead singers with, well, only one really, with Paul Rodgers, who was one of the greatest singers of all time, yet it just didn't work. Queen and Paul Rodgers just did not work. It was just too different, but they kept going. We Will Rock You as a musical, which I understand, which did very well. And these are the things that keep the business side of the music going. But you look at it, it's been 20 years before they sort of went, hey, this Adam Lambert guy from American Idol, he's pretty good. And I remember when that first tour came out, because I went to it in 2014, I had people saying to me, oh, what was the karaoke show like? Oh. What was the karaoke show like? And 6 years later, and let me tell you, it was great, because Adam Lambert was not trying to be Freddie Mercury.
Yep.
But he was trying to do the songs justice. Adam was doing it big time as a fan. And he was sensational. He's a star in his own right.
Yeah, for sure.
But he gives those, he can give those Queen songs the drama, the flair, and everything that is needed to perform in the way Freddie would have liked them to be performed, and how the songs should be done. Queen needs that sort of thing. It took a while though. They didn't rush it. And now 6 years later, in 2020, before COVID hit, they played stadiums in Australia. Sold out stadium, and they go around the world now. They've gone from playing the smaller venues now, because everyone's now gotten used to the idea that it is Queen and Adam Lambert. It's not Queen with a new lead singer. It's Queen with Adam Lambert. So I don't know what. Satriani is a terrific guitarist in his own right. We got no doubts about that. There's no arguments there. But he's not Eddie Van Halen.
That's right.
Eddie was a unique guitarist. But you can get there's so many guitarists out there now that can do everything that Eddie did, chops-wise.
Mm-hmm.
They really can. They can do it. But it's not Eddie.
That's right.
Jason, you said on bass. Well, Jason's a terrific bass player. And you pointed me to an article where Jason actually talked about the tour but apparently he said it off the record to a journalist.
Yeah.
And the journalist printed the article saying that, yes, Jason Newsted was in talks to do this Van Halen tribute, which has upset him. Now, getting David Lee Roth involved to me is a bad idea, because you and I have talked at length about David's inability now to do it, to sing and to perform. Like, he's just like comes across as jazz hands. That's all he's got now is the jazz hands. And he actually announced a retirement, started his retirement tour, and after 3 dates cancelled it.
Yeah.
Because Gene Simmons kind of said, come on, Dave, stop.
Yeah. So my take on the whole Van Halen thing, being the Van Halen fan I am, after Eddie passed away, I always felt there was going to be possibly a tribute show. One show, maybe 2, maybe a Hollywood Bowl, hometown, grab all the singers like Sammy Hagar, Dave, and even Gary Sharon, bring Wolfgang on, bring Michael Anthony back, and do the tribute properly, once or maybe a two-night show with a few special guests. Steve Lukather probably would play because he's one of Eddie Van Halen's best friends. So when I started hearing these rumours about Alex contacting Joe, and then also Jason, and Jason leaking it accidentally and all this kind of stuff, and Jason refusing to do it in the end because he didn't think it would do justice, I started feeling like, is it actually a concert, like a tour, or is it going to be just a tribute show? Because I don't see why Jason wouldn't do a one-off show, but he might not want to tour, you know what I mean, with these guys. When it comes to why they're doing it, I don't think it's for money. I don't think they've ever done anything for money, hence why they probably stopped playing a long time ago. But if they wanted to release anything to make some money, they could release the whole Sammy Hagar catalogue, because you can't find that on vinyl or anything anywhere at the moment. They've done all the other ones. No, you can't. You can get all the David Lee Roth stuff, but you can't find 5150 or FUCK or Are You Open To on vinyl anywhere unless it's the original stuff. They haven't reissued it. So they could do a box set on that and make some money that way if it was money. I don't think they want to. So I don't think it's about money, but I'm not really sure if they're going to do a tribute with everybody. Don't just pick Joe. Don't just pick Dave and then do it second class kind of thing. It won't be good. Do it correctly, but don't tour Van Halen, please. Don't go. I agree with Van Halen. I just don't think it will work.
I agree with you 100%, man. You do it as a proper tribute, and to have a proper tribute, you have to have Michael Anthony involved. You have to have Sammy involved. And you have, and maybe even you get other guitarists to come in. Because I think this made me think of after Chester Bennington died, Linkin Park did it brilliantly with their tribute show at the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah.
That tribute show was fantastic because they did it right. They opened with Mike Shinoda doing vocal on a song. Then the second song in was Numb, where they kept the spotlight on the microphone, and the crowd sang it.
Yep.
Then after that, they then got in different lead singers to come in and sing a song.
Yep.
And I thought that was great. And I thought, if you're going to do a tribute, it's got to be done right. You've got to have all the guys there. But if I reckon you leave the guitar spot open, you probably even have Eddie's rig set up, but you don't use it.
Oh yeah, yep.
Do you know what I mean? You have Eddie's rig set up, don't use it, but you have special guitarists come in and people who liked him. You get. I personally like. A name that comes to my mind is Phil X.
Phil X, yeah.
Phil X can play like Eddie. He has got that same sort of style.
Yep.
Phil X is a really versatile guitarist. But Phil X comes out and does a song. There's so many guitarists out there that can play like Eddie and do an Eddie. And then at the end, they all do or Eruption doesn't. You have like they did with some Frank Zappa stuff. There's video footage on stage, and there was Dweezil playing along with Frank. For the Eruption bit, it's just the film footage of Eddie.
Yep.
playing.
Yep.
And that's it. And then they come in off the back and do You Really Got Me. You know what I mean? It's there's ways to do it. And this is my theatrical brain going. There's ways to do it.
It is a tribute for a guitar player who influenced so many guitar players. So I think what you're saying about having the original people playing the main instruments or having different guitar players, Joe could do a song, and I'm sure Steve Vai could do a song. Nuno Betancourt can play a song. Zach Wild, all these different people can come on and do their favourite song of Van Halen. I think that'd be a really, really touching way of doing it because they all want to spend a bit of tribute towards him because he influenced them all, in a way, So I think it's a really good idea. I hope they listen to our podcast and take it on board.
Yeah, come on, Alex. You take this idea on board because I think the original idea of this tribute with Joe Satriani, Jason Newsted, and David Lee Roth, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. I think you're going to tarnish, and I think even Wolfgang would have something to say about that.
Well, the funny thing is, the article I read the other day from one of the magazines I read, Wolfgang didn't even know about this conversation being taking place for the last year or so. And he was the one who came out originally and said there will be no Van Halen ever without Eddie. So, and he's part of the band. He was in the band since 2007. So he doesn't know about it. And he should be part of the tribute too, obviously. So, he got his own thing going. He probably doesn't mind doing a tribute, but he should still be involved, I think. But up to their family, I guess. So apparently, Alex and Wolfgang talk every day or every 2 days. That's what I've read in different articles. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. I'd love to see how it pans out.
Obviously, Uncle Alex didn't talk about this.
Yeah. I'll keep that a secret from a nephew. So, yeah, but very interesting. But let's see how it pans out and what happens. But I do hope something happens. But I hope it's on a tour.
Yeah, I hope if it's done, it's done right. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's done right. Otherwise, it's. I don't know. Yeah, it's got to be done right.
It's not for money, put it that way.
Yeah, exactly right. It's got to be for the fans.
Yeah. So the other bit of news I heard, I've been listening to this new album come out the other day. I don't know if you've heard it yet, but Kirk Hammett has been blessed by the rest of the band to bring out his very first solo project called Portals. And it is only an EP. It's got 4 songs on it. What do you know about it? And have you heard the first single?
I heard the first one, which is High Plains Drifter.
Yep.
Now, the Ennio Morricone influence has always kind of been there on Metallica. Mm-hmm. They come out to The Ecstasy of Gold, which is from The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Marvelous piece of music. For years they've been coming out to The Ecstasy of Gold. Was it Kirk or was it Cliff Burton that introduced the band to the music of Morricone?
I actually don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, I read somewhere. I can't remember if it was one of those guys. It was Cliff Burton introduced a lot of the symphonic and compositional thing to the band. It was Cliff who said, "You create the music. Don't just bash out a song. We create. We build the songs up and we create something." And you can sort of see the marriage with that. So I've heard High Plains Drifter, and I did like it. I really did. I love the fact that he's been blessed to do a solo after all these years, man. Yeah. After all these years, it's like Kirk could finally, I get to do my. It's funny. I read a lot of.
It goes along with his Halloween and his monster collection. That's why it all started. He wanted a background when you do the museum kind of thing. He wanted music to play in the background. So he started making music for that reason. So when you go see his Museum of Horror, you can have music walking around. You can hear it. But it turned into something more which you never really thought of originally. That's why it's been created, and that's why I think it's so cinematic. But what were you going to say?
Oh, now I've forgotten. You made me lose my train of thought.
Well, I thought it was really interesting too. He got Bob Rock to produce it, who lives in Hawaii like he does. And because people couldn't fly anywhere really, that's why he said, Bob Rock's around the corner. And it worked really well. I've heard the album. I do have it. I've listened to it a lot because as I'm packing my house up, I have music in the background, and it's nice to have just music but no lyrics. And I've listened to these 4 tracks probably 20 times over and over again. And like I said, 4 tracks. Yes, High Plains Drifter was the first track, which I did love. There's other 3 working really well with it too. The whole album, 4 songs, is really, really good. great background noise, you know.
Yeah, I can't wait to actually listen to it in full. I've yet to do that. I can't wait to do that. It's one of the ones because I like instrumental music a lot, and that's right. That's what I was going to say. I find it funny. You know, you read everyone with a keyboard's got an opinion, I suppose. All these people saying, "Oh, Kirk's not the best guitarist," or oh, it's crap because Kirk's not a great. And I'm thinking, how is Kirk Hammett not a good guitarist? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay. I never once would have thought that with Kirk. You know, I don't rate him. If I had to rank some, I don't rank him in that high category. But geez, you know what? I think he's damn fine. How many people play along to Kirk Hammett? You know, air guitar at the shows. You go to a Metallica show and look around during a solo, and look how many dudes are air guitaring along to Kirk Hammett. So
look at a lot of people who start playing guitar, and some of the first songs they learn are Metallica songs. You know,
they are. Yeah,
they might be learning the rhythm more so than the lead, but a lot of lead players start learning Metallica songs straight up. And as you were saying before, you know, you probably wouldn't rank him in the top 5 or so guitar players, but it's the same kind of conversation we had with Corey last week, who's a drummer, who I asked about Lars, because everyone always bags Lars out for being not a very good drummer, but he plays in Metallica. You know, he writes some of the best music and best drum pieces for a long time. How can you say he's a bad drummer? You know what I mean? I just find it, they're a good band to kick, I think. But
I think that's it. They're a good band to kick. Yeah, they're a good band to kick. But look, I'm looking forward to listening to Portals. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to listen to it. You know, sooner rather than later. You know, but that's the thing. I find I get the new music every week, and I'm like, now I've got to listen to this. Yeah, now I've got to listen to that. So
Well, my suggestion is move house. Because then all you do is put the speaker on and you listen to music all day long while you're packing. It's the best ever.
I'm in my garage. If you've seen how much crap is in my garage, there is no way I'm not moving. I'm going to burn it down before I move house.
Well, we're actually discussing how much stuff we got for the new house and how it won't be filled at all. We're going to buy new furniture, I think, just to cover the room. Yeah. And I like that. I like that issue. It's a good issue to have. Not enough. It
is a nice issue to have.
So, but another thing I wanted to touch base on as well with you is something I've been waiting for since last year, the announcement of an album called Future Never, which is Daniel Johns from Silverchair, his new solo project. It has been released. It got released last Friday. I've heard it. I've listened to it a few times all the way through. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably at about a 7 at the moment. But each time I listen to it, I've kind of like grown a little bit more on me. Have you heard it yet? No, or not? Or yes?
No.
Okay.
No, I haven't. Once again, it's on my list.
Yep.
Because I've got to get through some of these before the new Arcade Fire comes out in a couple of weeks. So I've got to listen to the new Arcade Fire album.
Yep.
So it'll come. It'll come. I'll have it. But look, I'm looking forward to it because you're an enthusiastic Daniel Johns fan.
Absolutely.
In comparison to me, I liked Silverchair, but I wasn't that big on him. But you're a fan, and the podcast came out recently about Daniel Johns and his struggles with fame, success, his own talent.
Yeah.
You know, his place in the world, and it's just weird, unfortunate, I don't know which way you could put it, that Daniel's now going through some other struggles in his life just on the eve of the release of this particular album.
Yeah.
He was arrested and he's in rehab again. And it strikes me that the album has still been released, even though Daniel has not been around to promote it. Whether Daniel ever really wanted to promote it, though, is another thing. But you said, like, normally a record company or whoever was putting it out would delay the release until Daniel could, because I'm sure, Triple J at least would want to talk to him.
Yeah.
There'd be people out there who'd actually want to talk to the guy and talk about his new record. But it seems to be he is not available to talk to anybody.
Well, he did an interview with Rolling Stone. He was on the front cover of the recent magazine, and I opened up the magazine the other day, and there was at least 6 or 7 pages of his interview. I didn't buy it because it was a very expensive magazine this day and age. But I probably will download the article. But yeah, he's away at the moment. But everything's still coming through on Instagram and everything's still coming through on Facebook from him. And it has been noted on his pages that it's not him talking. It is people who he knows and trusts with the launch of this while he gets his help that he needs. But the album itself so far, I think is pretty amazing what it is. Some songs I'm not 100% sure on yet. I didn't really listen to his first solo album called Talk, I think it was called. Didn't own it, didn't really buy it. But this one here, I've been looking forward to this for a while. And it kind of takes off, to me, from where Young Modern finished.
Okay.
So I like it for that reason, because Young Modern is probably my favourite Silverchair album, along with Diorama. Because the other stuff, I kind of grew up with them, and they're younger than I am, but I grew as a lover of Silverchair as much as he grew as a music writer and a musician and everything. So I like the latest stuff better than the earlier stuff. And this is kind of like the next kind of like chapter for him. I do like it, but it'll be interesting to see what people think of it. So if you are watching and you do listen to it, write down below, what you think of the album Future Never. I like it so far, but I think I'll like it more as I listen to it more. But yeah, for sure. And I'm looking forward to hearing what you say about it too.
Yeah, look, I'll give it a listen. I have to give Kirk Hammett and definitely Daniel Johns' albums a listen as well. I was trying my computer has been stuffing up when I was trying to listen to Spotify, and I've just got this thing. I don't want to listen on my phone on the small speaker.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
I've got this nice setup at home with two really good speakers. They're on either side of me. They're not in camera shot at the moment, and music sounds great through these. And that's how I like it.
I got one of these things.
Oh, they're not too bad, eh?
Which I took outside when I was doing the gardening the other day, and I was getting things ready in the backyard, and that thing there is loud. It's so good. Yeah,
look, they're loud. Whether they've got the fidelity though, but they are loud. I'll give those speakers that. They pump out the volume, but I like fidelity. I like
same.
Yeah, but they're pretty good. I mean, those things. And if JBL want to sponsor our show, well, by all means, please do it. JBL. What was that again, Chris? JBL. Wow.
Yeah, that's a good one.
JBL.
Nothing better than a portable speaker. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, look, I like them. I'm a big fan of them. I'm a bit of a headphone junkie. Though. I'm always on a lookout for a good pair of headphones at a good price. And I know I use this Rode microphone, and I've seen advertised that Rode and now got into the headphone market.
Yep.
And geez, I want to try out a set of their headphones.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Did you, by any chance, watch Channel 7 last night? 100 years of Hey Hey.
The Hey Hey thing was on. Yeah, I watched the start of it, and I saw Tina Turner ripping it up as doing Proud Mary, which was only good. But I have a funny relationship with Hey Hey It's Saturday. But yeah, all the guests they've had and everything is pretty extraordinary.
Well, watching it last night, I only watched half of it. And what made me want to bring it up quickly is because Australian Crawl came on and they talked to James Rain. And we've done a show before about Australian music and how good it actually is. And this is him talk, and they show them back in the day on Hey Hey It's Saturday of Australian Crawl singing and, playing live and stuff. I spoke to Lexi, and Lexi didn't know who Australian Crawl was. And I said to her, I bet you do, you just don't know the name. So I rattled off quickly on YouTube 5 songs that you knew the lyrics for straight away. And really made me realise how these bands from way back in the 80s and 90s, we've discussed it before, they play on the radio, and I never bought their music because they're always on the radio. Lexi's a little bit younger than I am, and she listens to the songs every day and knows them and loves those songs, but doesn't know who they are. But they didn't know who it was. Proven a test of time, you know what I mean? And they are still really good rock songs in 2022. And I'm going to go and suggest one day with us, we'll do another Australian episode, because it really made me go back to the 80s again of how good some of our bands that we don't talk about or listen to are, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I'm using James Rain and Australian Crawl as an example. Years ago when I was working at radio station, we got James Rain to come and do a show for listeners, people, and the amount of people who would ring up, they were ringing up trying to get tickets to this James Rain show.
Oh, wow.
And it was only just James on an acoustic guitar. I think he had an accompaniment. And he only did like 5 or 6 songs. That's all they do when they do these. They don't do a full concert. But, the amount of people, and they're all older, they're kids from the 80s who we've all grown up now, or, they've had lives. But I can tell you now, when he played Reckless.
Yep, that's one of the songs Lexi knew.
It was like you could see, like when he plays Reckless, the crowd just loved that song.
Mm.
And as he says, it's actually not a very happy song, but crowds, you can see it really gets to people.
Yeah.
Because when he sings it on an acoustic guitar, it sounds nothing like the original recorded version. But everyone just loves it. As soon as they hear that opening line, stand down by the jetty landing.
Yeah.
They're in it. They sing along with him, and they're in that song. That song just worked, It was, and it still does to this day. It still works. God, it's got to be 40 years old. It's 40 years old next year.
Yeah. Crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy.
Boys Light Up.
40 years.
Another song.
Oh yeah, and Boys Light Up's a fun song. When it plays, I like it. I remember hearing an interview with we did interview him on the radio station when I worked at, and he's a bit of a prickly guy, James Rain. He's a bit of a funny customer, and he said that the song he absolutely despises was "Shut Down," the Australian Crawl song, "Shut Down." He hates it. He'll never perform it live. He said the 2 songs he hated were that one and Hoochie Goochie Ferrucci Mama. He hates both songs. He'll never perform them live. And because I'm sitting there in the studio thinking, "Shut Down" is my favourite Australian Crawl song. So I know if I go see James Rain, he's never going to perform it. And I'm thinking, that's a shame. That's my favourite Oz Crawl song. That song rocks.
That's funny.
Yeah, he hates it.
Yeah, so that was really interesting to go back in time, So we'll probably do a podcast on Australian music because there's so much to talk about when it comes to Australian music.
I think we literally, but I mean, we try to get it here and there. Like when we spoke a couple of weeks ago about Chris Bailey, the importance of the Saints, and it's so much. We produce so many great bands for such a small population. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
The legacy, the Australian music, and I got to admit, I will always go Australian band. I'll give them a listen.
Yep.
I'm always, me, and Brisbane bands. As soon as I hear it's a Brisbane band, I kind of go, I'll listen again. I'll give it another listen.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, it's good. Quick touch based on something I haven't seen for a long time. We popped up the other day on YouTube. MTV Unplugged concerts back in the day. We don't get them anymore. You don't see them anymore.
No, like the best ofs. Like the best ofs.
Yeah, do you reckon they should bring them back?
They won't. That's an interesting one. Do you see any of the modern pop artists probably doing they probably can and do. In saying that, probably one of my favorite songs of the last 12 months was the Olivia Rodrigo song, Driver's License. And it can be done on an acoustic guitar,
Yep.
Geez, Ed Sheeran is just him and an acoustic guitar, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
He has instrumentation now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not such a big thing. I think it's probably when music was so big and so that to strip it down to the acoustic guitars was a big thing. Whereas if you really listen to music now, the new music, it's so stripped down. Billie Eilish is the most stripped down stuff you're ever going to hear.
Yeah.
And she's massive. I don't know if you could do, I don't know if Billie Eilish could do an MTV Unplugged because I don't know what would be the point.
Well, what about bands? What kind of bands? Because back in the day, the ones that are famous are people like Alice in Chains, Nirvana, Eric Clapton, obviously. Kiss did one which brought back all the members since 1979 back on stage for the first time. And that was in 1995. So Pearl Jam did one as well, Stone Temple Pilots. What bands this day and age, like you're saying, most of them are pretty solo artists, but what band could do one this day and age? I'm not really sure if you could, but I'd like to see people try something different and maybe bring something similar to that, even if it's not MTV Unplugged, but Like I know Bon Jovi did one. I think it was an evening with Bon Jovi where they had electric guitars on stage, and it wasn't really an acoustic version, but it was still really, really kind of cut back a bit. What do you reckon? Who do you reckon could do one?
The current crop of musicians at the moment,
even in the last few years, band-wise.
That's an interesting one because I had, for me, I'd have to look at who's big at the moment.
Yep.
And I personally actually don't really like them that much. The acoustic strip downs of songs. Yep. Some people really do. I'm neither here nor. It's something like if I hear them, I go, oh, okay. I mean, the Foo Fighters have done it. They've done a few of them. Some people say, oh, it's a testament to the song that you can do it on an acoustic guitar. And yeah, they were probably originally written on an acoustic guitar a lot of the time. But with modern music, that's the thing. I'm trying to think of modern bands that would do it. And there's not a lot of bands that are high on the pop charts. You've got to remember when those MTV Unplugged came out originally in the 80s and the 90s, those bands were the biggest things in the world at the time. Nirvana was the biggest band in the world. Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, they're probably the three biggest rock bands in the world. Kiss had this legacy. And by the 90s, by the 80s, Kiss were just part of the group. But by the 90s, all those grunge bands loved Kiss. So Kiss were on this wave of resurgence, so to speak. And rock music, and it works well with rock music. But if you listen to music today, there's not a lot of rock in it. It's very heavily produced. And so therefore, as I said, it's either heavily produced or it's very minimal. And I can't think of anyone now. I really don't. There's no one that springs to my mind that I'd go, and I'm talking about current crop. I mean, the older guys, as I said before, James Rain, and you always get Paul Kelly. They write their songs on acoustic guitar. Paul Kelly turns up to your wherever you are. He can either have a full band or just him and an acoustic guitar. He'll pack the joint, and everyone will be singing along with everything that those guys do.
Yep.
But as the modern bands, the ones I listen to, that the mod bringing stuff out, I can't hear they could do that. The only thing I could think of is are country acts. So that's the thing now. It's so country acts, just country artists. Yeah. Yep. That's because, I mean, I've said it before, most of the really good new musicians are going, you listen to those country artists, man, you mightn't like the music in any way, you mightn't like country music, but you hear those session players behind those artists. They're the best in the world. They're the top of the game.
Yeah.
And Nashville is such a music town that everyone can play an acoustic guitar, and country music, that's one of the things I do like about country music is the honesty of it and the immediacy of it, that you can just grab an acoustic guitar and play anywhere. But modern pop music, I can't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think, I'm sitting here thinking about bands too who are currently out there, and I couldn't really think of anyone either, to be honest. I thought of the Chili Peppers have released a new album, but they're old school, they're not new. They just released a new album. So I can't really think of anyone out there. Imagine Dragons maybe, but even then, I don't know if that would warrant the acoustic things. It's a kind of a lost art, I guess, a lost kind of format. I enjoyed some of it back then, but, it's kind of gone forever.
Yeah, look, when you say it like that, it is a bit lost. That's why I said I think that has now become the realm of the country artists.
Yeah.
You're right.
I
mean, I'm just going to mention the name. Keith Urban is a killer on guitar, and I bet you he could get any one of his songs and get an acoustic guitar and just do a stripped back acoustic show, and he would still pack crowds out wherever he went. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're the only ones I could. Yeah, they're the only ones I could really sort of think of. But yeah, you and I agree that it's the modern art. Yeah, as you said, Imagine Dragons, but I find their music is more percussion based.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's more drum. If there's guitars in Imagine Dragons, it's bloody minimal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure it sounds like as you said, when we watch a Rick Beato video and he listens to the current top pop hits, and he goes, "Oh, an acoustic guitar."
Yeah.
And he gets excited about hearing just a little bit of an acoustic guitar. Whereas I'm sitting there going, Yeah, but where's the big crunching power chord, man?
Yeah.
Where is that? You know?
Yeah.
Where is that?
What's your cool thing for the week, Dan?
Oh, have I got a cool thing for the week? Got one this week. The Northman. I went and saw The Northman, the movie with Alexander Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman, Anya Taylor-Joy, and it's the Viking movie. Oh, it's good.
Right.
Oh, it's brutal. You got to see it at the cinemas. It needs to be seen on a big screen with a big booming sound system. The first 40 minutes, I was like, a bit like that when I saw Mad Max Fury Road. So that's what I was like with The Northman. I was like, what am I watching? I was watching it with my daughter, and even she was kind of sitting there going, what am I watching? This is intense. This is insane. So my cool thing for the week is The Northman. Okay. Check it out.
I will check it out. My cool thing, I was sitting on YouTube last night trying to find new music again, because I always like to try to find new things. And I found this guy from Nashville, I think it was. He plays guitar. His name's Justin Johnson. So look him up on YouTube, Justin Johnson. He plays all these different style of guitars. He's a real slide player, like plays guitar, slide. But the one that caught my viewing first and my interest was he turns weird things into guitars, like an oil can or a skateboard. But the one I watched, he turned a shovel into a 3-string guitar and played slide on it. And he played Ace of Spades.
Oh.
And I was just like, man, this guy's good. He's playing different things. Like the skateboard he rolled in front of him, it's on wheels. It's like a lap steel. He played that slide. He plays normal guitars as well. But he is a tremendous slide player. But watching him play Ace of Spades and a few other songs on this shovel he had that he made into a 3-string guitar just blew me away. So Justin Johnson, go to YouTube, look him up and look at that 3-string shovel song or the Ace of Spades one. There's a few of them. But yeah, really interesting. And I love that kind of stuff, you know. I think it's really amazing. So yeah, Justin Johnson.
What did I say before about those Nashville musicians, man?
Yeah, I know. Well, there's actually a song with I can't remember the song, but they're in a Johnny B. Good. They did a Johnny B. Good tribute. So he was in a studio with a bunch of other guys playing normal guitar, you know, but it was really nice to hear them play a Johnny B. Good song, you know, the way they did it with all the different musicians. So yeah, you're right. They were great musicians down there in that area, guys. So yeah, but Justin Johnson blew me away. Just who would think of turning a shovel into a guitar and just learning to play slide on it? Yeah, really interesting. So go watch him on YouTube. And that brings us to the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really. No. But I do want to, again, please subscribe and like. Yes, Dan.
I'm just saying, pointing down below. Like, subscribe. I'm pointing at the bottom of the video screen. Okay?
Yeah. I might even put the link. I might put the link on there this time for the Justin Johnson 3-string guitar.
I'll do that.
I'll do that. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching again and listening.
Thank you.
Episode 31. And we'll see you next week again for 32.
32.
Good week, everybody.
Everyone.
See you
Bye. Like, subscribe. See ya.